Facebook Live and at aljazeera.com, they say they wanted a peaceful protest, but rubber bullets and tear gas have ended hopes of that. Bangladesh's protests over road safety and the recent deaths of 2 students have become more violent this Sunday. Tear gas has been used to break up the demonstrations in Dhaka. An activist say at least 4 people have been injured on what is now the 8th straight day of protest. In a moment, we are live to the streets of Dhaka with Tanvir Chowdhury. First, the full story with Paul Chadurjian.
Student protesters have blocked streets in Bangladesh for the past week. They're demanding government action to improve road safety. Traffic accidents kill at least 7,000 Bangladeshis every year. 2 young students were knocked down and killed by a bus last week.
We've been protesting on the roads for a few days with some of our demands. We are demanding justice for those students of the college killed by a bus, and we want safe roads.
Over the weekend, the peaceful protests became violent when police tried to break up the crowds. Demonstrators were further incensed by a government minister who questioned why there was uproar about 2 deaths in Bangladesh and a lack of anger about 33 deaths in a bus crash in India the previous day.
We all are feeling threatened here. We wanted a peaceful protest. We don't want any trouble occurring around here. Yet rubber bullets were shot on our brothers at Mirpur neighborhood. They were dispersed. We don't want all this.
The government ordered schools and bus services to shut down. The government's trying to quell the violence by cutting internet services to cripple social media and censoring both Bangladeshi and international media.
The pro-government students attacked us. Then we broke the locks of a building and around 50 boys and girls took shelter there. And now the journalists helped us to leave the place. The police fired tear gas and used batons. The pro-government students also attacked and roughed up the girls.
Pro-government students are seen in this footage beating up an Associated Press journalist. Government leaders say they're going to implement the students' demands for improved road safety, but more protests are feared as both the ruling and opposition parties campaign for elections due in December. Paul Chadurjian, Al Jazeera.
Plenty of comments already coming in on the live stream at the moment. Azimul has said we want justice and our hands are being tied. Another comment saying we need our children to be safe from government goons. We want justice and international media support. Rahila's going to have a lot more of that online reaction in just a moment. But, you know, there are two ways to look at these protests. There is the acute issue of road accidents and then the bigger picture which that has now given rise to. I want you to have a look at these numbers first of all. In the past 3.5 years, more than 25,000 people have been killed on Bangladesh's roads. To put that in an easier to understand figure, we're talking 20 people a day dying in road accidents. And add to that, in the same 3.5-year period, more than 62,000 people have been injured as well. And if you widen out, striking and protesting has actually been a feature in Bangladesh for years. This is an interactive from aljazeera.com. You're looking at 10 years, 2003 to 2013. And what you're seeing as the cycle goes around, if you like, in that circle, is the cumulative hours of protests and strikes. That's all those sort of yellow bars, so it's flicking a little bit. You've got the orange and the red bars around the edge, which are showing that there have been injuries and deaths. And all of this protest mostly about things like political corruption and economic disparity. Let us check in with Tanvir Chowdhury. He's been up live from Dhaka all day, well into the evening there. Now, things perhaps a little quieter now, Tanvir, but it has been quite a day there for you and for everyone there.
It has been a very tense and volatile day today and as well as yesterday. Right now it's late night and it's getting quiet. Very few traffic in the streets. There's no public buses. It's been a nightmare for to get any public buses. Average low-income people have to ride scooters or 3-wheel rickshaws. Some have to walk because they can't afford to take taxis or Uber services. Now, this has been going on almost a week. Most people didn't complain. They were giving their support to the students because they also felt like the public transport system is in dismal condition, accidents, corruptions, and the police would let them get away with unfit bus, young drivers without driver's license plying the road. All this is a major concern for decades now. It's never been really addressed in the right way. Now the government said this is a police traffic week, we'll crack down on that, and the bus owners are still not on the road. This is one segment of the issue, and of course the crackdown of the students has been looked very negatively. The guardians and the people who are supporting them are very upset because most of the students were very young. the school-going students, or some cases university student, average age between 13 to 21 years old. Nobody really believed that government would crack down in such a way against them, considering they were not political. They were by and large peaceful group of protesters. And on top of that, the journalist community is now very concerned because yesterday journalists were attacked by ruling party student wing in front of the police, and today another 6 journalists were attacked. One of them happens to be AP photojournalist. He was badly beaten by ruling party supporters who were standby. They didn't intervene or did anything in that regard. The Prime Minister even criticized a segment of the media. She said some people are trying to fish in the cloudy weather. And then the Home Minister came out with a stern warning. They said that anybody trying to test the patience of the government will face the action. The General Secretary of the ruling party, who also happens to be a Minister for Roads and Communication, he said that, look, it is not our fault. It is the student who attacked the police, and that's why we strike back. All this put together in a very tense and volatile political climax, because the election is this year. Opposition is also very upbeat about putting down a show in the streets before the election. And there's been another incident yesterday which made things very tense, because the U.S. Ambassador Marcia Barnica's car was attacked by some unknown men when she went for a dinner invitation, and nobody was hurt, luckily. So put together, situation in the streets are still very volatile and tense. We'll have to see what happens tomorrow. And
yeah, we'll leave you there for now, Tanvir. As I say, I'm sure we will be talking to you again tomorrow. Tanvir Chowdhury is in Dhaka. Rahila, I'm getting so many messages in already from people saying, well, actually everyone here has said thank you for the report, please cover this news more and more. It's great that they get in touch with us, but it's not been easy to get in touch from Bangladesh, right?
It hasn't. But again, social media has played a huge role, Kamal, in organising and drumming up the support for these protests, especially when it all started. But now we've heard that 3 and 4G data services, mobile data services, have been blocked. This is now causing frustration among those who can no longer share their videos, pictures or plans for more demonstrations. And they're worried about their safety as well, so much so that people that we've spoken to have asked not to be identified.
Non-resident Bangladeshis are using social media as a tool to inform. We use these platforms to express our solidarity and organize fundraisers. We are also demonstrating in universities and outside the offices of news corporations in major cities. We mobilize because we relate. Since then, however, our role has changed. Protesters are being attacked by members of Chhatr League, which is the student wing of the ruling party, with allegations of sexual violence against women also surfacing.
People are frustrated. Currently, the cellular internet connection throughout the country has been shut down by the government, and the people are now trying to reach the international media by spreading some social media awareness throughout various social media sites. And things actually went out of hand when the protesters were attacked by a group of men who the protesters claimed to be some pro-government activists.
Well, the mobile blackout took place after the Prime Minister's office issued a warning about misinformation, where they said such fabricated news is being spread to confuse the country's citizens, including the young students demonstrating for road safety. Now, home internet services, though, have stayed online, and protesters have been logging on to plead for international help. And we spoke to another man who had just left Bangladesh for holiday when this all started, and he explained why he trusts social media more than local media to report on what's actually happening. Listen.
The information minister has ordered most of the news outlets to not report or cover the student protests that's happening right now, and thus most of the information we get from back home, from the news media outlets, has been highly doctored with, and thus the only people we can trust at the moment are friends from the front line or Facebook Live.
And we are getting a lot of messages on the story in Bangladesh, so do keep them coming. Use the hashtag AJ Newsgrid, or you can tweet me directly.